Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This one is the Ultimate Class Guide. This is going to be covering every single AQ3D class currently released in the game. I am not going to be going into detail on any of the classes. I'm just going to be giving you a rough run through starting from the very first, which is Warrior, running all the way down the list to Berserker. Big thanks to Delphor and Zangar for giving me information I was able to use in this guide. Starting off with the first class, Warrior. The rotation you're going to use for this class is Sever, Whirlwind, and Crushing Blow. And you can repeat this cycle as needed. When the ultimate becomes available, be sure to use it. The cross skill for this class is actually pretty handy because it couples well with the other AoE abilities from this class. These three abilities generate Fury. Once you are at max Fury, using any one of these three skills will be giving you 50% more damage. The Warrior class is best used when going up against multiple enemies due to its AoE attacks. It also has pretty good DPS. The next class is Mage. The rotation used by a Mage can vary, however for this one we're keeping it pretty basic. The first is using your Ice Spear. You're going to be using this 3 times, then you'll be using your Fire 3 times, and then your Lightning. You can repeat this pattern as needed. Use your ultimate when it's available. The cross skill can be pretty handy due to its damage over time, and it has a duration of 8 seconds. Lightning Storm has a capability of stunning your opponent, and the Ice Spear has a capability of slowing down your opponent. Use those two abilities to keep your enemies at a distance and you should be faring pretty well. This is more of a single target class and not a multi-target. Moving on to Rogue. The rotation for this class is a bit more complicated. You're going to be starting off with Swift Kick. Then you're going to be using the Poison Strike. Wait until you get to 8 stacks and you're going to be using your Scorpion Sting. At this point you'll be then using your Poison Strike and then your Swift Kick, and you can just repeat this pattern. When the ultimate becomes available, wait until you've used your Scorpion Sting and then you can use your ultimate, at which point it will then give this a cooldown so that this you'll be able to use immediately again. The cross skill for this class is Affliction. Make sure to use this thing when your target is poisoned. This is a single target thing. Now the DPS of this is rather iffy because of its damage over time. So it doesn't deal insane amounts of damage right away. However, it does deal good amounts of damage over time. Next is the Healer class. Now believe it or not, I don't have this at rank 10 just yet, so I can't show the cross skill. However, the cross skill is Presence of Mind. This helps to increase the heal power of all the spells that you use or the items that you use by 35%. The Healer class doesn't really have a rotation, but when you're starting a fight, you're going to want to start off with Renew. This is going to start stacking the kinship, at which point then you would use Burst of Morale because this is going to be boosting the attack of you and your allies. Use the heal ability, Healing Wave, when you need to. Once you've got to the full stack of kinship, then you can unleash it using Unleash. Use the ultimate when it's available, but usually what I do is I wait until after I've used this. Also make sure that you're not on full stacks of this before using this, as it does reset this to Renew, so you'll miss out on your Unleash. Best thing to do is make sure you've used your Unleash, make sure you've used your Burst of Morale, then you can use your ultimate. Like I said, I can't show you what the cross skill is, but honestly it's one that I tend to avoid anyways, as there are better cross skills. However, if you have it and you want to use it, just use it before you use the heal ability. The next class is Guardian. For Guardian, this is another class where you don't really have a rotation to follow. However, you'd be starting off with Guardian Strike. This is going to be giving you Guardian marks. Once you get to 10 or more Guardian marks, you're going to be using the Dragon's Breath. This is if you want to be more offensive. If you're looking for a more defensive approach, instead of using Dragon's Breath, you will be using Guardian's Hope. This will then be healing you or your allies. So make sure to keep your guardian marks stacked and then apply which one of these you would prefer depending on the situation. If you're looking to attack more, use Guardian's Breath. If you're looking for more defense or for heal, go for this one right here. Now this could be coupled with the healer's cross skill if you are wanting more of a heal. Use your ultimate when it becomes available. The cross skill for this class is Provoke, which actually turns the Guardian into a tank in all sense of the word, since it then provokes the enemy to attack him. This class is actually good in multiple situations. You can use this for single targets, but it probably shines best in a multi-target situation. Next is the Ranger class. The rotation for this is Empowered Shot, followed by Bloodthorn Trap, and then followed by Rain of Arrows. And you would basically repeat this pattern. Use the ultimate when it becomes available. Disengage is the cross skill. Now this comes in really handy if you need to get distance between you and your target. This class can be used for single target or multi-target. However, the trick to this class is to make sure you keep distance between you and your opponents. The DPS on this class is lacking. There are better long-range classes you can use if you're looking for a faster kill. However, this is a lot of fun. Dragonslayer is the next one. This class depends heavily on determination, which is this meter right here that fills up. Once it gets to 50, this ability is going to be causing extra damage as well as ignoring the target, 60% of the target's defense. Then Fangbreaker at 50 determination, you're going to be dealing extra damage and silencing the target so they can't use their abilities, which is a really good skill. And then at 50 determination, this one causes a target to bleed, so you get a damage over time going on. The rotation for this one starts with the Dragon Lance, at which point you would then be using the Shatter Scale and then Fang Breaker. At this point you're going to be using the Shatter Scale again and then Dragon Lance. You can also try to time these just right so you can get them at the 50 mark, especially this one right here. If you want to silence your target, make sure you get to 50 before applying the Fang Breaker. Use the ultimate when it becomes available, but at 50 determination, it is going to become an AoE attack. So if you are attacking multiple enemies, be sure not to use it before that. The cross skill is Rend. This is one of the best cross skills, to be honest. This one here lowers the armor of your opponent. Now it only lasts 4 seconds, but that's enough to cause some lethal damage. This lasts longer against dragons. This class is more geared towards a single target situation. Next class is Pirate. The rotation for this is as follows, starting off with the Bullet Storm. Now at which point, if Flak Shot becomes available, you're going to be using the Flak Shot. If it's not available, you're going to be going with the Flame Bullet. So if Flak Shot becomes available, use it. Otherwise, Flame Bullet, and then you're going to be going back to this one here. Reload when you need to. If there's a break and both of these are on cooldown and you've got a moment to reload, do so because you have the time to reload. Use the ultimate when it becomes available. The cross skill is Lucky Shot, and this guarantees a critical hit, so it can actually deal quite a bit of damage, and this is rather an overlooked cross skill, but it's definitely one of the more powerful ones. This is definitely a single target class, but it can definitely do some damage if you get lucky. This class is rather based around RNG, but that's what makes it fun. The Alpha Pirate is literally identical to the Pirate except for the ultimate, which is slightly different. Instead of having the parrots, you have the Kraken. So I won't be doing a guide on that because it's not needed. Next is Paladin. The rotation for Paladin is Radiant Blade, Holy Shield, and then Sanctify. And you're going to be using your Holy Shield when it becomes available and basically going in between these two. Use your ultimate when it becomes available. The Holy Bolt is now a heal over time instead of an instant heal like it used to be, so you're going to be using this as soon as you start taking damage. You can apply the Holy Bolt. Due to its extreme tankiness, this class can go up against multi-targets. However, it is more built for a single target thing. Next is the Necromancer. The rotation for this is spam like freaking crazy. No, but seriously, you're going to be starting off with your Summon Undead, then you're going to be using your Soul Siphon and your Dark Decay. You're basically going to be using whichever one is off of its cooldown first and just spam away. Use the ultimate when it becomes available. Don't use it if the opponent you're fighting is almost dead though. Wait until you have another fresh opponent. The cross skill is Bone Prison. This comes in pretty handy at immobilizing your opponent. Unfortunately, it only lasts for 3 seconds, so it's pretty much useless. Considering it has a 30-second cooldown, there are definitely other cross skills way better than this. This class can do both multi-target or single target, however, it was more designed for a single target situation. The next class is Ninja. Ninja is by far the most complicated class, however there are 2 rotations you can use. The first is the defensive. You'd be using the Earth Jutsu first, at which point you're going to be using the Fire and then the Wind. And you repeat this pattern going down the thing like this. Then you've got the offensive, which is the exact opposite. You're going to be starting on this end using the Fire Jutsu, and then you're going to be going up. So you're using your Earth and then Wind, Fire, and just repeating that pattern. There is also a balanced way of doing it as well, but it's a bit more complicated than that. The balanced method is to use your Fire first, then your Earth, your Wind, and then your Earth and your Wind, and you repeat this pattern: Fire, Earth, Wind, Earth, Wind. And this is the balanced way of doing that. Use your ultimate when it becomes available, depending on what you want it to do. If it's on the Earth stance, you're going to get a 50% power. If you're on, or 50 plus power. If you're on the Wind stance, you're going to have a perfect dodge. This is usually the one most people do, so they would apply their Wind just before using their ultimate. And then the last is to regenerate all your chi quickly, so that it would be the Fire stance using this one and then the ultimate. The cross skill is Sprint. Now this, I don't really know if this comes in handy for combat, as I've never really used it much in combat, but I do use this when I'm running dungeons like the Wolfwing challenge, when you have to run to the circles and stuff. So I do use this in certain dungeons, as I do find it comes in handy, but I've never actually really used it that much in battle. This is definitely a single target class. This is not one you want to use against multiple enemies, but it's surprisingly pretty powerful. Moglomancer is the next class. The rotation for this starts with Zorbak. You'd be using that first, and then you're going to be using Twig, followed by Tweely. And you'd basically be repeating that pattern. Now, keep in mind, you're going to be using your Twig if you want to regenerate mana, so keep an eye on your bar when you're using this ability to make sure it gets to where you want it to get to. And you're going to be using your Tweely if you're trying to gain some HP. So again, you're going to be keeping an eye on your health and where you want it, as well as how much mana is being reduced. So you may have to apply this quickly and then jump back onto Twig. So you'll be sitting on either one of these depending on where you want your bars. For the cross skill, we have the Blizzy's Blizzard's Blitz. Boy, that's a lot of B's. Just call it BBB from now on. And this one here is amazing. Now, it has a 30-second cooldown, which is lengthy. However, it does slow down your opponent as well as freeze all actions for a short time. This is actually really, really handy, and it's used up against multiple targets, which is nice. However, this class is more or less of a support class, so I would use it up against one opponent rather than multiple opponents. However, this is perfect when you're in a dungeon with a lot of other people. The final class is Berserker. The rotation for this is Savage Flames, Reckless Smash, and then Raging Strike, and you'd basically be repeating this pattern. However, you may want to throw in Invigorate if you find your HP is getting too low and you need to bump it up somewhat. You want to keep your health between 30 to 50% in most fights, because dropping it below the 30% mark may be endangering your life, of course, depending on what you're going up against. Wild Shout is the cross skill for this class and actually couples really well with this class. Definitely something you might want to consider when running this class. This class works great in either multi-target or in single target. It really does well in both situations. And there we go, that is the ultimate class guide. I hope this video helped you guys out there. Big thanks to those who helped me with this video, and thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.